Hello, it's Jameson again with another one of my Slim Bits behind the scenes videos. This one on Kilroy episode 17, aka Love Bug. I've had a lot of my friends come up to me in the past and say that this is their favorite episode. And I think a lot of it may have to do with the fact that most of the jokes are at the expense of my character and how much of a delusional, arrogant loser he is. So the original idea came about because I knew eventually Kilroy had to go up against some bad guy who would control an army of giant bugs. And that's not really drawn from any particular comic book supervillain. I just feel like there are a lot of comic book villains who are like that. And I'm drawing a blank on all the names, but I decided, you know what, Killer's got to go up against one of these guys eventually. So I figured, Beetle Leader, that's the name of him. And Kilroy and he are going to partner up because they face a threat greater than each other, and that is the prospect of me dating Beetle Leader's daughter, which, Kilroy doesn't want me fraternizing with the enemy. Certainly, the enemy doesn't want his daughter fraternizing with the enemy. So this creates a nice little conflict for these two characters. So BB is voiced by my good friend Chloe, who I didn't really know if she had ever really wanted to do some voice work for me in the past. I didn't know how familiar she was with my cartoons, but one summer she came to me and said that she had been taking these acting classes, and she was finding it very difficult to find avenues for her to practice what she had just learned outside of like the typical monologues and stuff. And I said, well, I write a web series. And she was like, oh yeah, that's right, you do. I would love to like hone my craft, or if you have something that, if you have like a part that you need cast, like just let me know. And like the wheels started turning, and I thought I had this idea where, Kilroy goes up against a bad guy, and they need to join forces. What could possibly make that to happen? And originally I thought maybe I'll make the bad guy a woman, and then I thought, no, the proper avenue for comedy is that Beetle Leader is an overprotective single dad. I am dating the villain's daughter, and Kilroy and the villain don't want that to happen, so they try to sabotage the relationship. And of course, as we find out, I needed no sabotaging of this relationship. I tended to my character wound up losing the girl anyways. uh, so Beetle Eater's mouth there with the two mandibles, that is a carryover from an old cartoon series I used to do back in my days when I was making cartoons for the website Newgrounds, which was like primarily set in space, and there were a lot of supporting characters that were aliens, and that mandibles, that pincing mouth movement there was on one of the supporting characters from that. And I always liked the look, not only because like I managed to get the timing right on the opening and closing of it, but also because animating mouth movements is an absolute pain in the ass for me, and I will take any opportunity in the world to trim that workload down. So having like that repeating animated mouth movement, that was a blessing. Okay, so the two dating prospects that Kilroy has me meet up here, Juliet and Frumpy. Uh, not based on anyone in particular. They were more or less. I was creating these designs based on the voices of the people who provided the voices for these characters. So Juliet was voiced by my friend Colby, who, when I was just driving around with him once, he said that he wanted to do a voice for a character, and I've heard him sing a couple of times before, but I never heard him do actual different voices. And even though his voice had a lot of character, I asked him just like point blank, and I never ask any of my friends this: can you do any kind of voices? Like, do you have any characters in your pocket that you can bring it out at any time? And he gave me this very gruff sounding, harsh old lady voice that practically sounded like a man, but with an ugly smoker's cough. And I figured that is perfect. I need to write a character for this. So I just created this old, ugly woman for Kilroy to suggest, hey, maybe Jameson would like to date her instead. And Frumpy is voiced by my incredibly talented and lovely younger sister, Maddie, who is a phenomenal actress and improviser, and I guess just has like this dorky character that she can bring out whenever she wants. And that was the other poor unfortunate soul who gets rejected by my character. This scene here in the hive is just to, it is pretty much just an excuse to show that, my character wasn't exactly the greatest boyfriend. And hopefully like this is like a lot of fiction that goes into this character and not like a lot of the truth about me. So the character of Jay in Kilroy is just someone who I've described as a guy who thinks he's cool, which kind of gives me carte blanche to, poke fun, hopefully at myself a little bit here. And this is like one of the cases where like he just absolutely loses cool, which tends to happen a lot. But now we get to see like how he gets out of a jam when there's when Kilroy's not there to bail him out. And really, it's just, oh god, I love that split face predator gag. I don't know why. Like I'm not much of an animator, but like the timing on that, like I gotta like toot my own horn here a little. Good on me for just making that sight gag land, because I think that's where a lot of people's enjoyment of this episode comes. So yes, BB comes to her senses, realizes that I'm not the man of her dreams, and who knows what happens to her, but hopefully she finds herself a more capable and supportive boyfriend than than my character ever would be for her. You go, girl. You deserve better. So the doctor here is voiced by my good friend Danny. I wish I brought in this doctor character a lot more. What did I name him? I think I named him like Doctor Comedian or like maybe even Doctor Dre. I don't remember, but I just love the idea of like a Doctor Spaceman type of doesn't take his job seriously, is probably a bad doctor, and who's probably the last person you want like tending to your wounds and like bringing you back to full health. Like he's super sarcastic and he's not entirely supportive to other people and he's a bit of a ball buster. I thought that was a really cute idea, and like I know it's not like a totally original idea, but they are really fun characters to write for. So yeah, that was Kilroy episode 17. A bit of a fan favorite, that one. I think around this point, like I really started to hone down the art style, the timing of Kilroy, and it's just so unfortunate that it came very close to the end of the series. And actually, looking ahead at the next couple of episodes before we get to episode 20, this is sort of the last of the Kilroy goes up against a supervillain, and the story just kind of is informed by that situation. Because the next two episodes are more break from the norm, like playing with the concept ideas. But we'll get into that on the next Slim Bits. So thank you again for listening, and you guys take it easy. Bye.